The Zarathi starship glided silently through the vast emptiness of the Orion Arm. Its sleek silver hull reflected the distant starlight like liquid metal. Commander Valen stood on the bridge, his many eyes scanning the instruments. For centuries, the Zarathi had believed they were the first intelligent civilization in the galaxy. They were proud, confident, and certain that the stars were theirs to explore. Yet today, something unusual had appeared on their sensors. Deep within the Sol system, where the Zarathi maps showed only barren planets and dead rocks, faint energy readings pulsed rhythmically. The readings were subtle, almost like a heartbeat, and unlike anything Valen had seen before. "This doesn't make sense," muttered Lieutenant Kor, his voice trembling with excitement. "This system was lifeless. Why is there energy here?" Valen's gaze hardened. "Prepare the scanning drones. We need to understand what we are detecting before reporting back to the Council." Within minutes, the first drones launched from the ship, small but powerful, equipped to analyze energy, temperature, and chemical composition. They moved like silent silver fish weaving between planets and asteroids heading toward the source of the readings, Earth. From orbit, Earth looked quiet, almost peaceful. Vast oceans shimmered under the sun, and white clouds drifted lazily above the continents. Yet beneath the surface, hidden by ice and stone, something ancient waited. The first scans revealed the impossible. Beneath the frozen lands of Antarctica, enormous structures lay buried, their sharp angles and vast scales far beyond natural formation. Some structures were metallic, others made from stone that had resisted the erosion of millions of years. "These are not natural," said Kor, awe creeping into his voice. "They are artificial and old. Very old." Valen frowned, feeling a strange tension in his chest. "How old?" he asked. The drone's instrument struggled to measure accurately, as the energy signatures they detected were unlike anything in Zarathi history. Slowly, a terrifying realization emerged. These structures were millions of years older than the Zarathi civilization itself. Valen staggered backward. This cannot be. Nothing should exist here before us." Kor shook his head. "We were wrong. We are not the first." The bridge was silent. The pride of the Zarathi, their belief in being the first, was being shattered by the cold evidence before them. Commander Valen's many eyes, normally so sharp and unyielding, blinked in disbelief. "We must investigate further," he said finally, his voice calm despite the storm in his mind. "Prepare a landing team. We need to see what we are dealing with on the surface." Hours later, a squad of Zarathi explorers descended toward the Antarctic landscape. The snow stretched endlessly, white and blinding under the planet's sun. Yet beneath their boots the ground felt strange, unnaturally smooth. They reached the first structure, a massive triangular formation embedded in the ice. Its surface was etched with strange patterns, symbols that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. Lieutenant Kor ran his fingers over the carvings. These are markings of a language, but I don't recognize it. None of our records show anything like this." Valen stepped closer, his antennas brushing the icy wind. "The energy readings come from inside," he said. "There might be power sources still active." With careful precision, they opened a massive door that had resisted the cold for millions of years. A low hum filled the air as the mechanism activated, sliding silently into the snow. Inside was darkness, but not empty darkness. A soft pulsing light emanated from the walls, illuminating vast chambers filled with machinery. "This is incredible," whispered Kor. "Look at the size of this place. It could house thousands of beings." The explorers moved cautiously through the halls, their sensors scanning every surface. They found evidence of advanced technology, floating panels that responded to touch, machines with energy outputs far beyond Zarathi standards, and holographic displays that flickered weakly but still showed information. Valen stopped in front of one of the displays. Slowly, images flickered to life, stars, planets, and fleets of ships moving across the galaxy. They weren't Zarathi ships. They were something else. "These are star maps," said Kor, his voice barely a whisper. "They show interstellar travel. But by whom?" The realization hit them with full force. Someone had mastered the stars long before the Zarathi had even dreamed of leaving their home world. Someone had been here first. As they explored further, they discovered more. Storage rooms filled with preserved specimens, artifacts, and writings. Some seemed like everyday objects. Others were tools of incredible power, One chamber contained what appeared to be a preserved city model, showing a civilization that had thrived, conquered, and expanded across planets. This civilization was advanced beyond our imagining, Vaylon said softly, and they disappeared. Kor frowned. Do you think they were destroyed? Or did they leave? Vaylon shook his head. I don't know. But whatever happened, it was deliberate. They didn't just vanish. They left a message. Then, as if answering the unspoken thought, one of the machines in the center of the main chamber activated. A low hum resonated, and a holographic figure flickered into existence. It was humanoid, but distinct from any known species. Its eyes glowed faintly, and its voice, though broken and mechanical, spoke a single sentence. The children of Earth will rise again. The explorers froze. The words were simple, yet carried immense weight. Millions of years had passed, and still someone, something, had left a warning or perhaps a promise. What does it mean? Kor whispered. Vaylon's antennas twitched nervously. It means we are not alone in history. We are not the first. And perhaps we are not the last. They spent hours examining the ruins, each discovery more astonishing than the last. There were machines capable of repairing themselves, energy sources that defied Zarathi understanding, and libraries containing knowledge of mathematics, physics, and art that the aliens had never imagined. And everywhere, the signs of humans were there. Not the humans they had read about in old myths, but beings far older, far wiser, and far more capable than anything the Zarathi could comprehend. As the Zarathi prepared to return to their ship, Vaylon looked out through the icy window. Earth seemed peaceful, even innocent. Yet beneath the surface, secrets older than the galaxy itself slept, waiting for the day they would be awakened. This discovery changes everything, Vaylon said quietly. The galaxy will never be the same. Kor nodded. If the humans were here before us, what does that make us? Vaylon didn't answer immediately. Instead, he watched the icy horizon, the soft glow of the buried ruins reflecting off the snow. The weight of history pressed down on him, and for the first time he felt something he had never experienced before. Humility. The Zarathi had come seeking proof that they were the first. Instead, they had found evidence that they were children in the shadow of a forgotten empire. And in that moment, the galaxy's story began to shift. For what lay beneath Earth's frozen surface was not just a relic of the past. It was the beginning of a mystery that could shake the stars themselves. As the landing team left the surface and returned to their ship, the hum of the ruins continued, almost like a heartbeat, echoing across the icy chambers. Somewhere deep beneath the frozen Earth, the secret waited, and one day, perhaps sooner than the Zarathi expected, the children of Earth would rise again. After returning from the frozen ruins, Commander Vaylon and his team spent days studying the data the Guardian AI had shared. Every hour brought new revelations, and every discovery filled them with both awe and unease. The humans were no myth, no primitive legend. They were a civilization that had mastered the stars long before the Zarathi had even left their homeworld. Lieutenant Kor could hardly sleep. Every vision from the Guardian replayed in his mind. Massive fleets gliding through space, human cities orbiting distant stars, machines that seemed alive, and humans themselves, brave and wise, shaping worlds with their knowledge. They were more than just explorers, Kor whispered during one briefing. They created, they built, they understood the universe in ways we cannot imagine. Vaylon nodded, his multiple eyes scanning the reports. And they left all of this behind? Why would a species so advanced abandon everything? They chose to retreat, the Guardian had explained. The galaxy was not ready for them. Younger civilizations could not comprehend their knowledge. Some humans feared conflict, others sought observation without interference. Their retreat was deliberate, a strategic choice to preserve themselves and their legacy until the right time. The implications were staggering. The Zarathi had believed themselves the first, the most advanced. Yet here was undeniable proof that a species of humans had risen, conquered the stars, and then withdrawn. They were not merely explorers. They were teachers, guardians, and architects of civilizations. Vaylon summoned the Council of Explorers aboard the starship. The room filled with Zarathi leaders was heavy with tension. We have discovered evidence that challenges everything we know about the galaxy, Vaylon began. Humans, not Zarathi, were the first civilization to master interstellar travel in this sector. They spread across the stars, built fleets, and left records. records that we have just begun to understand. The room fell silent. Many could hardly believe it. To admit that they were not first was to confront centuries of pride and certainty. Are they alive? One council member asked, voice trembling. Possibly, Valen replied. The Guardian AI suggests that some humans may still exist, hidden and observing the galaxy. Their technology, their fleets, everything was designed to survive, to awaken when the time was right. Kor leaned forward. And if they return? The question hung in the air. Return. The word carried weight that none could ignore. The humans had been gone for millions of years. Yet the thought of them returning sent ripples of fear and excitement through the council. They will judge civilizations not by strength alone, Valen continued. They will judge by wisdom, curiosity, and respect. Our pride will not protect us. Only understanding and humility may earn their regard. The council debated late into the cycle. Some argued to hide the discovery, fearing panic across the galaxy. Others insisted the truth must be shared, warning neighboring civilizations of the humans' existence. Every voice carried fear, awe, and a strange longing. Meanwhile, the Guardian AI continued to reveal more secrets. It unlocked ancient star maps, showing not only human colonies in distant systems but also hints of communication networks and hidden caches of knowledge. The Zarathi realized that humanity's retreat had not been an end, but a carefully planned pause, a way to protect their achievements until the galaxy matured. Kor stared at one of the maps, tracing the paths with a finger. They weren't destroyed. They deliberately disappeared, and they left messages for anyone who might come after them. Valen's antennas twitched. A warning or a guide? Perhaps both. They trusted no one fully, yet they left knowledge to teach, to prepare those who could find it. As the Zarathi explored the archives further, they discovered simulations of human interactions with alien civilizations. Humans had met others not with aggression, but with diplomacy and cooperation. They had created alliances, yet they had also known when to stand firm. Their wisdom was measured, their curiosity boundless. For the Zarathi, the lesson was clear. Humanity had been more than a conqueror. They had been a teacher, a guardian of the galaxy's potential. And now, even in absence, they had the power to influence civilizations through the legacy they left behind. Kor felt a mix of awe and envy. We thought we were the greatest, he murmured. And yet, compared to them, we are children playing in the dark. Valen did not answer immediately. He gazed at the holographic records, imagining fleets of humans gliding silently through the void. For the first time in his life, he felt the weight of humility. The galaxy was larger, older, and more complex than he had ever known. The Guardian AI, sensing their questions, spoke again. You are young, Zarathi. Your curiosity is your strength. Learn from what you have found, and perhaps you will be ready when the humans return. The galaxy is full of possibilities, but also dangers. Their legacy is a guide. Treat it with respect. Valen nodded slowly. We will study, learn, and prepare. But how will the rest of the galaxy react? Will other species understand? Many will fear. Some will celebrate. But none can ignore it, the Guardian replied. The humans will rise again, and the galaxy will know their power. The realization settled like a weight on the Zarathi team. For centuries, they had explored the stars with confidence, believing themselves first and alone. Now they were confronted with evidence that humanity had walked among the stars long before them, and might return to claim their place once more. Kor shivered, both in fear and wonder. Do you think we will be ready? Valen's gaze remained steady, but inside he felt the same uncertainty. Perhaps not. But we must try, and we must remember what we have learned. The galaxy is not ours alone, and the children of Earth will be unlike anything we have ever faced. For days, the Zarathi continued their study of the ruins, the Guardian AI guiding them carefully. They learned of human technology that could reshape planets, energy sources that seemed limitless, and ways of thinking that combined logic, creativity, and empathy. Every discovery filled them with awe, and every revelation reminded them how small they truly were. One evening, as the twin suns of Sol set on the icy horizon, Valen stood alone on the observation deck. He watched the pale light reflect off the frozen continents, the silent evidence of humanity's past greatness. Somewhere beneath the ice, the Guardian AI continued to hum softly, and somewhere beyond the stars, humans may have been waiting, preparing to return. Valen realized that the galaxy they had known was only a chapter in a much larger story. A story written long before the Zarathi, and one that might one day continue when humanity came back. He whispered quietly, almost to himself. We were not first, but we will honor what we have found, and perhaps one day we will meet them with respect, not fear. As the ship drifted over the ice, the hum of the ancient ruins followed them, a gentle reminder that the past was never truly gone. And somewhere, deep in the void, faint signals began to stir, the first hints that the children of Earth were not lost forever. The awakening had begun. The revelation of humanity's ancient presence on Earth spread slowly at first, through encrypted communications and cautious transmissions. Yet once the Zarathi Council decided to share the discovery with neighboring civilizations, waves of curiosity and fear rippled across the galaxy. Species that had long believed themselves advanced now faced a humbling truth. Humans had once dominated the stars, mastering technologies and knowledge far beyond anything in current memory. Fleets paused in their travel routes, scholars abandoned experiments, and governments debated endlessly on how to respond. Commander Valen stood in the central command of the Zarathi starship, observing the reactions streaming in from across the Orion Arm. Some civilizations are fascinated, he said to Lieutenant Kor. But others, they are afraid. They think humans will return as conquerors. Kor shook his head. They don't understand. Humans weren't conquerors. They were explorers, teachers, and guardians. Their legacy is knowledge, not domination. Valen frowned. Many species will not see it that way. Fear is easier than understanding. Meanwhile, the Guardian AI continued to reveal more secrets buried within Earth's ruins. One chamber, previously hidden, contained detailed star maps of lost human colonies. Systems light years away were marked with precise coordinates, energy sources, and even supply stations. It was clear humans had traveled far, leaving breadcrumbs of their presence scattered across the galaxy. Kor's eyes widened as he studied one map. These are colonies. They were not just here and gone. Humans spread far beyond the Sol system. Valen's antennas twitched with anticipation, and if any of these colonies survived, humans could still exist. The possibility sent both fear and hope through the Zarathi crew. If humans were alive, the galaxy could witness the return of a civilization that had shaped countless worlds. If humans were not alive, their legacy still held lessons and technology that could transform life across the stars. Word of the discovery reached other species. Some sought alliance with the Zarathi, hoping to learn what they could before humans returned. Others, driven by fear, prepared their fleets defensively, imagining worst-case scenarios of humans reclaiming the galaxy. Kor looked at Valen. We must find out if they are alive before others act. We cannot allow panic to spread unchecked. Valen nodded. Agreed, we'll follow the star maps. Every sign, every energy signature could lead us to remnants of human civilization. The Zarathi dispatched exploration teams to distant star systems marked on the Guardian's maps. They traveled light years at a time, scanning planets, moons, and asteroid belts. On several worlds, they found evidence of human colonization. Abandoned cities, dormant machines, and faint traces of life support systems. On others, energy signals flickered weakly, suggesting that some colonies might still be intact, awaiting the return of their creators. In one distant system, the Zarathi discovered a massive city, long hidden beneath thick clouds and magnetic storms. Its architecture mirrored nothing they had ever seen. Soaring towers that seemed to float above the surface, streets lined with energy conduits, and buildings that shimmered as though alive. The city was empty, but the technology pulsed faintly as if holding its breath. Kor whispered, awestruck, This is human design. They could build entire worlds with their minds and hands. And they left it like this. Waiting. Valen studied the energy patterns. It is a message. A reminder. Whoever finds this will know that humans were here first, and that they may come back. Back on the Zarathi ship, news from other species was troubling. Some civilizations demanded secrecy, fearing interstellar chaos. Others wanted to claim the knowledge for themselves. The revelation of humanity had become a spark that could ignite either collaboration or conflict. Valen addressed the council once more. We cannot control fear, but we can control what we do next. Our duty is to study, preserve, and understand. Humanity's legacy is not ours to claim. It is ours to respect. Meanwhile, subtle signs began to appear. Across distant systems, faint transmissions, almost like whispers, began to echo. They were irregular, weak, and easily missed, but the Zarathi sensors detected them. Energy spikes appeared, faint but deliberate. Kor stared at the readouts. These signals, they are not natural. Something is awakening. Valen's antennas twitched. Could it be them humans? The Guardian AI responded through the ship's comm system, its voice calm but firm. The children of Earth are stirring. Your actions have triggered their attention. Prepare for their return, for they will come when the galaxy is ready to receive them. The revelation sent shivers across the crew. The humans were no longer just a memory. They were alive in some form, hidden but moving toward the stars once more. Across the galaxy, preparations began quietly. Fleets adjusted courses, scholars decoded ancient messages, and governments debated strategy. The discovery of humans had united some and divided others. Yet all agreed on one thing: the galaxy would never be the same. As Zarathi teams explored further, they found advanced machinery that had survived for eons. Some machines contained instructions, designs, and even ships ready for reactivation. The humans had left behind tools not as weapons, but as gifts for those who could find them and respect them. Kor examined a floating craft, its hull shimmering with energy. This could take us anywhere in the galaxy. Humans left it here for a reason, but why? The Guardian AI's response was cryptic. For guidance, for preparation, for the galaxy to remember that greatness exists beyond fear. Valan realized that humans had planned for a return long before anyone could have imagined. Their absence had been deliberate, their technology a test and a legacy. And now the Zarathi, once proud of being the first, were tasked with understanding a civilization that had outlasted them in knowledge, courage, and foresight. As the days passed, energy readings grew stronger. The faint signals multiplied, moving in complex patterns across systems as though a network was awakening after eons of dormancy. The Guardian AI explained that these were subtle messages sent by human colonies preparing for reconnection. Kor looked at the display, eyes wide. They are communicating with each other. They are alive. Valen's heart raced, and soon they may reach us. Back on Earth, hidden beneath ice and stone, the Guardian AI continued its vigilance. Machines hummed, energy flowed, and systems long dormant began to align. The planet itself seemed to pulse with anticipation, a silent witness to the stirring of a civilization that had once ruled the stars. The Zarathi felt a mix of fear and admiration. Humans were not invaders. They were guardians of knowledge, artists of the cosmos, and explorers beyond comprehension. Yet the thought of their return brought uncertainty. How would they judge the galaxy? How would they regard the Zarathi? Valan realized that everything had changed. The galaxy they knew, filled with politics, pride, and competition, was about to witness the return of beings who had walked among the stars long before them. The question was no longer whether humans existed, they did. The question was when they would return, and how the galaxy would respond. As the ship prepared to leave the distant human city, Kor turned to Valan. Do you think they will forgive us for existing? For claiming progress when they once ruled? Valan did not answer immediately. Instead, he gazed at the pulsing energy signals, tracing the paths of human colonies across the galaxy. They may not need to forgive us. They may simply teach us, as they always did. And if we are wise, we will listen. The Guardian AI spoke one final time before the ship departed. Remember this. Humans rise not to dominate, but to awaken. Your understanding, respect, and curiosity will determine your place in their return. As the ship ascended, leaving the city behind, the faint signals of human awakening spread further, invisible to most but detectable to the few who knew what to look for. The galaxy began to stir with anticipation. Some species celebrated, others trembled. But all were aware of one undeniable truth: humans were coming back. And when they did, the galaxy would never be the same again. The Zarathi, once certain of being first, now understood the weight of history and the power of legacy. They had glimpsed the past and they had sensed the future. And in that moment they realized the galaxy's story was only beginning, and humanity's return would write the next chapter. The galaxy had grown restless. Across countless star systems, The news of humanity's ancient civilization spread like a quiet, unstoppable storm. Many species reacted with awe, some with fear, and a few with envy. But all agreed on one truth. Humanity had existed before them, and now, there was a chance they might return. Commander Valen's starship hovered silently above Earth, the ice of Antarctica reflecting the pale light of Sol. The Zarathi had spent cycles preparing, exploring the star maps left by humans and decoding their ancient technology. Energy readings had grown stronger over the weeks, signaling that something, somewhere, had begun to awaken. "Commander," Lieutenant Kor said, eyes wide with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "The signals, they're intensifying. And they're coordinated. They're moving in patterns across the galaxy." Valen's antennas twitched nervously. "It is happening. The children of Earth are coming back." In the icy depths beneath Antarctica, the Guardian AI had been monitoring the planet for millions of years. Now its systems worked at full capacity, pulsing and glowing with energy that had long lain dormant. Massive machines stirred, lights flickered on, and the faint hum of ancient technology resonated through the frozen halls. "The time has come," the Guardian AI said softly. "The humans are returning to the stars. They have observed, prepared, and are ready to reclaim their legacy." Beyond the Milky Way, across hidden colonies and distant star systems, humans began to emerge from their long exile. Ships, sleek and unlike any other, glided silently from orbiting stations and hidden bases. Energy fields shimmered around them, and their navigation systems synchronized across light years, connecting fleets that had been scattered for eons. On the Zarathi bridge, every eye was fixed on the displays. Fleets of ships long thought lost to time were now moving back toward the Sol system. The humans' technology was breathtaking, ships that could bend space, energy sources that never depleted, and communication networks that spanned entire galaxies. "They are alive," Kor whispered, barely able to believe the data, "and they're coming home." Valen nodded, a mixture of awe and humility washing over him. The beings who had once walked among the stars, who had shaped civilizations and safeguarded knowledge, were returning. And this time the galaxy would see their full power. The Zarathi fleet prepared to meet them, but not with hostility. Valen understood the lesson humanity had left behind. Respect, curiosity, and humility were the keys to surviving in a galaxy shaped by greatness. Meanwhile, across the Milky Way, other civilizations scrambled. Some sought to flee, fearing the judgment or dominance of humans. Others attempted to make contact, hoping to learn from those who had mastered interstellar travel long before they existed. But the humans did not immediately engage. They moved with purpose, their intent clear but calm. They were not conquerors. They were returning to reclaim their place in the universe, to reconnect with the legacy they had begun millions of years ago. On Earth, the Guardian AI activated the final systems. Ancient structures lifted from beneath the ice, revealing energy towers, communication arrays, and a network of machines that pulsed with life. The planet itself seemed to awaken, responding to the return of its people. Valen watched as one massive fleet appeared in orbit, their shapes familiar from the Guardian's projections, yet far more magnificent than any image could convey. Ships shimmered with energy, their hulls glowing softly as they moved in perfect synchronization. Humans were here not as a myth or a memory, but alive and commanding the stars once more. "They are magnificent," Kor said, voice full of wonder. "All we believed about them. It is true and more." The Guardian AI spoke once more, its voice calm yet resonant. "They are the children of Earth. They return not for vengeance, but for balance. The galaxy must remember them, honor them, and learn from them. Their purpose is not conquest, but restoration." The first human ships moved toward Earth, docking at stations that had been long dormant. Humans emerged, tall and strong, with intelligence shining in their eyes. Though millions of years had passed, they were unchanged by time, preserved through technology and careful planning. Their presence radiated calm authority, and the Zarathi felt a mixture of reverence and humility. Commander Valen stepped forward as the humans approached. We have awaited your return," he said. Antennas bowed slightly in respect. "Your legacy, it has shaped the galaxy even in your absence." A human leader stepped forward, her presence commanding but gentle. "We left to observe and protect. We left knowledge behind for those who could find it. And now we return not to claim, but to guide." Kor felt a shiver run through him. This was not an invasion. This was a homecoming, a return of beings who had once shaped the cosmos with wisdom, creativity, and courage. As humans reconnected with the galaxy, ancient knowledge flowed into waiting civilizations. Technology that had once seemed impossible became attainable. Energy sources that could power entire systems were shared. And, most importantly, lessons of respect, cooperation, and exploration were taught. Across the Milky Way, civilizations marveled at the humans' return. Old rivalries faded, replaced by curiosity and the desire to learn. The galaxy had seen the rise of many species, but none like humanity, ancient, wise, and extraordinary. On Earth, the Guardian AI watched the reunion unfold, its purpose fulfilled. The planet itself seemed to breathe with renewed life, as humans activated systems that had waited for millions of years. Cities rose, powered by energy sources thought lost to time. Machines awoke, ready to serve once more. Vaylon and Kor observed the transformation in awe. "They are not just humans," Kor said softly. "They are the past, the present, and the future of the galaxy." Vaylon nodded. "And we are fortunate to witness it. Their return reminds us that greatness is not measured by pride alone, but by curiosity, courage, and wisdom. We have much to learn." As fleets aligned, as civilizations watched, and as humanity reclaimed its place among the stars, the galaxy understood a simple truth. Humans had been first, and now they were back. Not as conquerors, but as guides, guardians, and teachers. The children of Earth had risen again. The Zarathi, once certain of their supremacy, now felt humility and awe. The galaxy, once confident in its young civilizations, now understood the weight of history. And Earth, long hidden beneath ice and secrecy, had become the beacon of a new era. The return of humanity was not an ending, but a beginning. Stars would be explored anew, knowledge would expand, and civilizations would grow under the guidance of a species that had mastered the art of the universe long before anyone else. Vaylon watched the human fleets depart toward the distant systems, reconnecting with colonies and re-establishing networks. He whispered softly, almost to himself. "The galaxy will never forget them, and neither will we." Kor smiled, a mixture of relief and wonder on his face. "We thought we were first. We were wrong, but now we have the honor of learning from those who were." And somewhere deep in the void, across systems both near and far, the heartbeat of humanity echoed through space. It was a rhythm of life, of wisdom, and of promise. The children of Earth had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the awe and wonder of a civilization long thought lost, now awake, and ready to guide the universe into a new age. The story of humanity, ancient, powerful, and wise, was no longer a memory. It was living history unfolding before every eye, and it had only just begun. Far beyond the busy trade routes of the central galaxy, the Voidwatch Patrol drifted quietly among the stars. Their mission was simple: monitor deep space activity and report anything unusual. For centuries, the patrols had been routine, almost boring, filled with minor trade disputes, drifting debris, and the occasional distress call. But today, something felt different. Lieutenant Karen, a veteran officer with sharp eyes and a steady hand, leaned over the viewing panel. Her gaze pierced the inky blackness of space, where stars sparkled like distant diamonds. "Captain, I'm picking up an anomaly," she said, her voice calm but with a trace of curiosity. Captain Raoul, a broad-shouldered alien with greenish-blue skin and glowing orange eyes, turned toward her. "An anomaly?" he repeated, his tone cautious. "Explain." Karen pointed to the sensor display. "It's a ship, sir, massive. Power readings off the charts. But it's not moving. And its design. It's unlike anything we know," Raoul frowned. "Anything we know?" He motioned for the other officers. "Bring it up on the main screen." The patrol's sensors struggled to focus on the object. As the data cleared, an enormous warship appeared on the display. Its shape was angular and intimidating, with armored plates covering its hull and weapon systems protruding like jagged teeth. The patrol officers stared in silence. None of them had ever seen technology like this. Karen studied the readings. "Its energy signature. It's human." The room went silent. Humans. Here in the far reaches of space, where the patrol had never expected to encounter them. Captain Rahl's eyes narrowed. "Humans, are you certain?" "Absolutely," Karen replied. "It matches human ship signatures we have on file. But it's different. Much larger and more advanced than anything humans have built before. The officers exchanged uneasy glances. Humans were known to be clever, resourceful, but no one expected them to have developed something so far beyond their supposed capabilities. For decades, humans had seemed confined to their small star systems, struggling to maintain colonies and survive. Now, one had appeared here, armed for battle and silent as a predator. Rael tapped his claw on the console. "Send a probe. I want a close scan. Let's find out if it's active." Karen initiated the probe launch. A sleek, small vessel detached from the patrol ship and sped toward the warship. Data streamed back in real time. The hull was unlike any alloy in the Coalition's databases, and the ship's structure seemed designed to endure incredible stress. Weapons could be seen, large cannons, missile bays, and strange energy emitters that the sensors could not fully identify. "Captain," Karen said, voice tight with tension. "This ship, it's ready for combat. Not just that, it seems intelligent. I'm detecting patterns in its power output like it's analyzing us." Rael's gaze darkened. "A human ship analyzing us? That's impossible. Humans have never demonstrated technology at this scale before. Maybe we were wrong about them," Karen said quietly. "Maybe humans are more capable than we thought." The patrol officers murmured among themselves, fear and excitement mingling in the cabin. For centuries, they had studied humanity from afar. The species was known for cunning, adaptability, and survival instinct, but no one had imagined humans capable of building a warship this massive and powerful. Rael took a deep breath. "We need to be careful. Do not approach. Do not engage. Keep your distance and continue monitoring." For hours, the patrol watched the human warship drift silently in space. It made no movement, no transmissions, only the soft glow of its engines flickering occasionally. The tension in the control room grew. Every officer knew that one wrong move could trigger a disaster. Suddenly, the warship powered a section of its weapon array. Sensors detected the shift instantly. Large turrets rotated and a faint pulse of energy radiated outward. The patrol officers froze. "What is it doing?" one young officer whispered. "Testing us," Karen replied, eyes wide. "It's measuring our presence, our capabilities. It knows we're here." Rael clenched his clawed hands. "Humans, they are not just survivors. They are predators, and we are the prey, if we are careless." The ship remained still, but the threat was clear. Its silence was not emptiness. It was focus, patience, and intelligence. A warship like this did not exist for exploration or trade. It existed for power, and it was fully aware of its surroundings. Meanwhile, the patrol's communications officers struggled to decipher faint signals coming from the human ship. The messages were encoded, far more advanced than anything the Coalition had encountered. Repeated attempts to communicate failed. The warship did not respond. It only watched. Hours turned into a full cycle, and the patrol had still not approached closer than the safe zone. Yet the warship's presence was a constant pressure, like a shadow looming over the galaxy. Karen could feel it in her chest, a mixture of awe and fear. She had studied human tactics, history, and psychology, but none of it prepared her for this. Finally, Rael spoke. "We cannot ignore this. Send a detailed report to the Central Command. Humans have returned to the galaxy in force, and we need to prepare. This ship, it is only the beginning." The officers began compiling data, their fingers moving quickly over the controls. Every sensor reading, every power signature, every weapon array had to be recorded. The patrol knew that this human warship was a turning point. If humans had built one ship like this, what else might they have hidden in the depths of space? As the patrol prepared to retreat to a safe distance, the human warship finally made its first subtle movement. A slow, deliberate rotation of its main body, aligning its weapon systems with the patrol ship's direction. No warning, no aggression, just a clear message. Humans were aware and they were not afraid. Karen swallowed hard. "Captain, it's observing us." "Yes," Rael said quietly, a grim edge in his voice. "And we are part of its observation. We are the lesson it is learning." The patrol ship slowly backed away, keeping the human warship in sensors' sight. Yet even as they moved, the unease remained. Humans were no longer just a minor species. They were a force, and the galaxy had not been ready for them. In the vast emptiness of deep space, the human warship floated like a dark star, silent and deadly, waiting for the moment it would decide the fate of anyone who crossed its path. And for the patrol officers, one thought burned in their minds. If humanity could build one ship like this, how many more were out there? As the distant stars twinkled, Karen made a note in her log. Humanity is back, and they are armed for war. The message was simple, chilling, and unforgettable. Something ancient and relentless had returned to the galaxy, and no one could predict what would happen next. The warship remained still, but in its silence, a single truth echoed through the patrol ship's minds. Humans had grown stronger than anyone had ever imagined, and the galaxy was about to notice.